Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 41 of The Good, the Dan, the Florida Man. With you, as always, your hosts.
I'm the good. I'm Ryan, and
I'm the Dan, because I'm Daniel. And you?
I'm...
come on, that was perfect. That was flawless until you chuckled, Ben.
I'm Ben, and I'm the Florida Man. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time listening to us, thank you for joining. We are three stand-up comedians that got shut down as the world did by COVID, so we turned to the podcasting world to keep our creative juices flowing. We are still stand-up comedians, though, so you can see us outside of the podcast. Ryan, where can they see you?
Well, this will actually be the day that I'm filming my comedy special. So if you want to
March
see
5th?
it, March 5th.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to see me live and you're not in Missouri, you're going to have to move quickly.
Get to Missouri.
With some haste.
Yeah.
If you're seeing the show tonight, I can't wait to see you.
Get in the car and
It's
go.
great.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you still here?
Go ahead.
Dan, what about you?
Again, I'm just going to default to Ben, because I do corporate gigs right now, so...
Oh, yeah, I do colleges, so if you want me, go to college.
Yes.
That's all.
Go to college.
One of the only reasons to go to college, and it's not a great one.
Just to see Ryan.
Well, they can
I go
find
to
you
college
outside
to
of
see
college.
Ryan.
No.
You also don't have to attend the college.
You don't. You can just go to the college.
Yeah, I just said go to college. I didn't say you had to go there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. I have shows coming up. March 8th, Richmond, Virginia at the Funny Bone. March 9th, Virginia Beach, Virginia at the Funny Bone. March 11th, Lake Park, Florida at the Lake Park Black Box. March 12th, Boca Raton, Florida at the Boca Black Box. May 19th, I'll be in Fort Wayne, Indiana at Summit City. May 20th and 21st, I'll be in Appleton, Wisconsin at the Skyline Comedy Club. And May 22nd and, just the 22nd, Louisville, Kentucky at the Louisville Comedy Club. That is it. That's what I have coming up. What have you guys been doing in the past month? Man, it's been like a month since we've recorded.
Yeah, I just got back from Idaho and Oregon like 2 days ago. That was
Wow.
nice.
What part of Oregon?
Eastern Oregon.
So just more Idaho.
More Idaho, yeah.
You were just in Idaho for days.
They had good food. They had really good food.
What kind of food?
Yeah.
Like they can do a French dip. It
What?
just felt really fresh. I know we can get that here, but it was really good.
Okay.
I will say
you
this.
all right?
Their sandwiches were great. No, I'm fine. Their
Okay.
sandwiches were just fire.
All right.
I feel like Oregon food just sometimes tastes better, and I don't know what it is.
Thank you. It just hits different.
It just hits different sometimes. Sometimes I'll be going to Portland, and I'm like, why does the sandwich just taste more normal?
Which is weird for Portland.
They
Yeah,
do know how to do good. Like, I don't know what it is about, like, Oregon, but it just feels cleaner. It feels healthier. Maybe not in Portland, per se, but at
I
least...
think that's just like a weird personal stigma that you have.
I love Portland and Oregon. You have my heart. Idaho can fuck.
You are the big pink
Actually,
tower.
Idaho had crazy good food too, and also like
They-
in their grocery stores.
I mean, they do.
They've got a whole. It's like LA, I'm talking like keto friendly, like low sugar, like all this stuff. It's super, which is
Aren't
weird
they,
that I
like,
didn't expect to see that.
fastest developing economy in the States at this point.
Well, if it's by percentage, that's might be a
but
little
I
off.
Yeah,
also feel like the bar was low
put the
because
ma-
they
the
have like
mic
a lot of
closer.
they have a lot of
there you go.
potato
Now do you hear
farmers.
yourself?
Can
We
I
love
hear
them.
me? I can.
To
Wow.
men that farm potatoes, I love you.
Ooh, some delicious
do love
potatoes.
potatoes.
With things we've learned about Dan so far, he
Potatoes.
loves
There's one thing I
Portland,
love.
He loves Oregon, and he
Portland,
loves men
Oregon.
that grow potatoes.
I love a man who grows me a potato.
He loves
I
a
think you
spud
just
man.
like gardening.
I love anything green. Yes.
He's a huge fan of Beast Boy from Teen Titans.
I was gonna say the Jolly Green Giant.
Wow.
I love that we both had green people.
That,
Yeah, just ready to
but
go.
the Jolly Green Giant can get it. Smash.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Are we
Smash.
gonna do
Smash or pass?
Smash or Pass, but on brand?
Chevron. What do you think of those like
Sam.
arrows?
The mosquito wings.
Oh, wait, what?
The it's a chevron,
Oh,
but we call it the mosquito wings in the
Oh.
military.
Interesting. Do Sam the Toucan?
Quite a beak.
Pass.
Pass.
Tony the Tiger?
Ooh.
Soft, but pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up a few brand characters.
The Count from
Characters for
The
brands.
Count.
The Count from Count
Count
Chocula.
Chocula?
Yeah.
Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid Man,
Oh, Kool-Aid Man?
Pass.
Pass.
but he'd smash through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he would smash.
He would definitely smash, but
Yeah.
Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Same time?
Foursome. Interesting.
Yep, a foursome.
I'm not sure if I'm ready for that.
Okay. The Geico Caveman.
Why are you not answering these?
I mean, because I've
about the
smashed
Geico-
all of them, probably.
Okay,
The
Geico
Geico
Gecko,
Gecko?
but you're also a gecko.
Smash.
Smash? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
smash.
I'm very
I feel
reptilian.
like he'd be gentle. He'd be gentle.
He would have to be his gecko.
Yeah. I need to help you with your insurance.
15% or
Michelin
more,
Man.
baby.
The Michelin Man?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Ribbed for your pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, yes, smash the Michelin Man.
Probably feel like a couch cushion.
Let's see. Mrs. Butterworth.
Absolutely.
What does Mrs. Butterworth look like?
It's the bottle.
Syrup and delightful.
Just the bottle?
I guess, yeah.
Sticky.
Hello Kitty.
How old is Hello Kitty?
Pass illegal. Feels illegal.
Mr. Peanut.
Interesting.
Here's
I
money,
don't think
it
I could
feels
nut
like.
for him, ironically.
Okay. I think I'm done playing this game now.
No.
One final one.
Yeah.
Charlie the Tuna.
What?
Charlie the Tuna.
From Sunkissed. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Have you not seen
The
it?
Sunkissed
No.
tuna.
I've never seen that before.
I'm going to have to take a pass.
Okay.
A pass at it?
Nah, I think I'm going to go for a pass on that one.
Oh, a pass on it. Okay.
Yeah, pass on it.
But if anyone can get it, is the Jolly Green Giant.
Well, look what he's wearing. He knows how to dress.
He knows, baby.
That could have gone a different direction.
Yeah, it scared me, man. When you said it, like, I'm sure we've got it on video. My eyes just going,
I do tend to scare Ryan quite a bit.
He does.
It's a lot of fun for me.
He has a lot of fun.
What have I done? I just got back from a little trip. I was in the Denver in the Midwest, and boy, was it cold. I was not happy about that, man. Like, I was in Denver. The warmest day was in Denver on a Sunday, and it was like 40 degrees. And then Monday in Des Moines, it dropped into like the teens.
Mm-hmm.
And then Omaha on Tuesday was 1 degree.
Beautiful.
A degree.
A degree. I've never in my life had to use that word singular.
Yeah.
And I don't want to again. I am not a fan. I had to use...
You don't want a degree?
No. I had to figure out how to use an ice scraper, Dan. I've never had to use an ice scraper
I'm
before.
glad.
I was so mad. Well, the thing
It's a
is...
scary moment when you have to scrape your window.
Well,
for the first time.
okay, so we didn't scrape the windshield. I got in the car, sat down, looked at the windshield, went, well, that's not transparent. And so we just sat in the car for like 30 minutes with the heat on until it melted. I was not about to get out and scrape. But then we got on the highway, I looked and I realized that the side view mirrors were still iced over.
Not fun.
And I had the choice of, do I fix this or do I die? And I chose death. I did not stop.
What are you going to do? Midway through, you're going to roll down the window?
Well, I mean, I pull off to the side of the road.
Oh, I guess we had different approaches. I was just like, you got to roll down because you got to keep driving. That's my whole goal.
Well, what's
no.
your speed that you like to break cars into or whatever?
100.
100. I took a Kia Sedona 100 in Idaho.
That's not a car that does that speed.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to. Yeah, actually, I took it to 110 to be
Beautiful.
completely honest because Idaho doesn't care.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, Kia Sedona is a huge family van. You can take that thing to 110. Hypothetically, by the way,
Yeah,
In theory.
potentially. It could do it.
it could do it.
You
maybe.
shouldn't.
Please don't send this to the police.
Statute of limitations. You're fine. Look,
I don't think it's 2 days.
all I'm saying is that I pulled over. We had to stop for food.
Uh-huh.
And after we got back in the car to get food,
Uh-huh.
I looked and I was like, I might as well try to scrape the ice off of the side view mirror now. And I took the ice scraper that they put in the car and I started scraping, and it was just mocking me. None of the ice was coming off. It was, man. There was no ice coming off. I was just sitting there scraping. I flipped it around to the other side. I was like, maybe this side, and nothing happened. And so I started swinging at it. Like over, I was just beating the side view mirror with the ice scraper. I was like Happy Gilmore stuck in a sand trap. I was just swinging and banging, and then like a little piece of ice chipped off, and it reminded me of playing like Minesweeper, where you click and just one box opens.
Yeah.
You know, usually you click it and like the whole sea of boxes open.
Yeah.
It's just like the one, and it just says the number 1. That's what happened. I smacked it a bunch, and just like one little square of ice came out, and I was like, "This is."
Where was this again?
This was halfway between Des Moines, Iowa, and Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, no. I'll never do it then.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I like liked it. They had a really good burger theory.
When did you go there?
This past week, dude.
No, him.
Oh.
It was the time that I went to Iowa and drove up to like Sioux City, Iowa.
Were you there during winter?
Yes.
Was it this terrible?
I don't know.
It was fun.
I just
A good time.
I
liked
I
it.
don't fuck.
I don't.
With ice.
Neither do I.
like
Well,
you,
and then the
Omaha.
thing was, the side view mirror started like bending away from me. You know how some of them like they bend towards you, like you can bend them in to fit into small spaces. This one bent away, it, like curled away from the car. I was like, there's no reason for this safety feature on this vehicle.
Yeah.
And so every time I would hit it, the mirror would just move farther, and I would have to reach out and pull it back to beat it more. I got eventually like 2 square inches of visibility on it, and I was like, that's enough.
I said this the other day. I roast Utah a lot because like there's so much to roast about it.
Yeah.
But when I think about the weather, I'm like,
It's not
maybe
bad.
it's not like terrible. Like sometimes people tell me that like 7 feet of snow fall in certain states in like 48 hours or whatever.
Alaska is like that.
And I'm just like, I should be grateful that like we get like maybe 1 inch every now and then. It hit the high 50s last weekend. It did snow the rest of the week, which was nice. But that was the first snowfall. Like, well, there was technically 2 snowfalls now, but like 2 big snowfalls only. And I know that probably means global warming is really taking an effect, and like I shouldn't be celebrating it because it's like. Yeah, but I kind of enjoy it. I'm like, maybe I should just be like happy with what I've been given. I don't know.
I moved
What?
from...
That sounds like the basis of genuine happiness there, Dan. Are we sure we want to be happy
I'm never
with the
happy
world we live in?
unless I'm married to a man who grows me potatoes and I live in Oregon.
I moved from Florida to Southern California. I'm just not happy.
You've just chosen
I'm just
sadness
not
repeatedly.
happy. Yeah. Oh, well. What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Anyway, anything else happen? Oh, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody brought me a gift for you. Well, I think it was a
What?
gift for me, but it was a thing that you said you've never seen or played with before.
Oh, so, okay.
But
So
then
I said I want something and then someone brought it for you.
You said you've never seen it, and I said I wish I still had it.
Oh.
But if you look right over there, there's a box of Lincoln Logs.
Oh.
I love this so much.
Wow. Look at this.
We're going to let you play with it.
Thank you.
I love that I lose my monitor so that Dan
Yeah,
can play
no,
with
you
Lincoln
don't.
Logs.
You don't need that.
No.
You don't need that.
Guys, I used to
Logs.
be part
So
of the
remind
podcast
me, this is a game?
No, it's just a thing. It's
like
It's a
Legos.
toy.
It's Legos.
It's
The OG Lego.
yeah.
Yeah.
It came before. Did
Did
it
it?
come before?
I don't know if it did or not.
Interesting.
I am unaware of which one came first, but
Thank
Chicken or the
you. This is great.
Legos or the Eggos?
I would like a Lego, sir. Okay.
yeah, and you can open that, and I made some space for you on this table right here.
Thank you. Gonna have a lot of racket, I'm sure.
Do you know how to use it? Do you know what to do?
I don't, but it looks pretty straightforward.
Don't read the rules.
Okay.
I don't think there are rules. Don't read the instructions.
Okay.
Okay, so we have
We have
this package.
some sort of roofing. We have some sort of logging. We have some sort of horse and cowboy.
Wow.
That's me,
Which one are you?
a red cowboy.
Oh, okay. Ryan, do you want to be the horse?
I'd love to be the horse.
Okay.
And then a smaller log. A
Small- yeah.
logette.
Is that
A logget?
Sure. If you want to call it that.
Loglings.
Hey guys, if I'm right, what we're going to talk about this week is perfect for this tangent that we just went on. Are we going to talk about our lives with
Well-
ADHD?
Well, I can introduce you to that because I literally only just started Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that has been kind of a little bit of a revelation for me more recently, particularly that I can focus on stuff, but we are shooting this at 7 p.m. So it's worn off.
Yeah, about 7.
So it's still kind of in my bloodstream.
Right, because it lasts for 4 to 6 hours.
Yes, but
I thought it was 2 to 4.
No,
it's
4 to 6.
definitely
Huh.
it's funny. It is such a wild wave to ride because I feel like initially when it first hits, you are experiencing this like intense just like boost.
Yeah.
Then you plateau for about a solid 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 hours. And then there's just this like slight downward.
See, that's
Slight?
not how I've
No,
experienced
not
Adderall.
slight actually.
Yeah.
I think
I-
you mean explosive descent. Like,
I think you mean, wow, that wore off.
Well, yes.
man, naps are great.
And I also just want to specify, Ryan is going to go perform stand-up after this. And
And
I'm
I
just
took
like,
my Adderall 7 hours ago.
insane.
He's been crashed for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take Vyvanse.
Okay, well, let's go through the history of ADHD medications. When did you
Sure.
first get diagnosed?
I got diagnosed January 2020. So,
Wow.
like 2 months before COVID shut everything down, I got my first ever ADHD diagnosis at the age of 24.
Was there a reason?
I thought I had it.
Okay. There wasn't
Turns
like
out-
a specific event that like made you like, maybe I should try some meds?
I think it was just like in the middle of like I was learning a lot about ADHD and I don't know where exactly that came from.
Probably a hyperfixation from the ADHD.
Probably, yeah.
Like genuinely.
I don't know like what spurred it or anything, but I was learning a lot about ADHD, and the more I learned about it, the more I was like, huh, that checks. So I eventually, this was right after I just kind of Googled it. I was in Florida and I just Googled it. I was like psychiatrist near me, and I found one in Orlando that wasn't that expensive. It was like $75 for the first meeting and then $50 for every meeting afterward without insurance.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, no, that was a really good deal. So I went and saw that person, and I walked in, and he was like, oh, you think you have ADHD? Here, fill out this form. And I filled it out, and by the end of the form, without him even reading what I had written, he goes, yeah, you have ADHD. He was just watching
like,
me
sure.
try so hard to sit still and write information on a piece of paper, and he just went,
What did he
"No."
have you write?
It was just an
His
ADHD
name.
questionnaire. That was actually the one thing I forgot to write.
Which is very indicative of
Yeah.
ADHD.
Suffering the SAT.
I was fine at testing situations because I was just very quick. I just finished it really fast, and then I got in college. I found out what my timer was. Don't look at me like that, Ryan. Don't you? The people are pleased. Anyway, so I love how Dan's just building Lincoln Logs right now. In college, I figured out my time limit for things. For things that I enjoy, my time limit was about 45 minutes max. After that, I could not focus on anything. Like, I had a physics class that was an hour and a half long. I could get through half of it, and then I would start making paper airplanes.
Wow.
I could take notes and be, like, a part of the situation until 45 minutes was up, and then I was done. There was nothing else I could do. And then I got that diagnosis in 2020, well after I had dropped out of college. Started taking Adderall.
And?
Oh, yeah, you asked me what he asked me to fill out on the form.
Yes.
This is just the most.
I just love that because I also forgot my own
You
question.
gotta put these on the bottom.
Thank you. I was thinking that. And it was
Damn.
driving me crazy.
The flat ones go on the bottom.
Really?
Yeah. Why would the flat ones
Also,
not?
Dan, you're going to want to use the little one so you can put indoors and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been killing me as we've been watching him play
Well,
with Lincoln
stick
Logs.
the other one
I'm not
under
going to
there.
say he's playing with it
Stick the other
wrong
one.
because that makes me sound like
Stick
I've
the-
got problems. But like,
Dan, put the
I'm
other
just
one
having
under
a
there.
grand old time.
Put
doing...
Get the little one out
I
of
got
there.
diagnosed about 6 months ago, and from when we're filming this,
How did
and
that feel?
There you go.
it felt
Look, it's
weird
flat
because
now.
it was something that like people always make the assumption that like kids with ADHD struggle with school, but that's not true if you like school.
Well, it's also not true if you're not challenged by school.
Yeah.
Like in high school, everything was just easy. Like I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or anything. The things that were easy were grades because, well, not necessarily grades, tests. Grades measure effort, not intelligence, which is why my grades suffered because I would not do the work.
I hated homework. I hated
Yeah.
any type of extracurricular work. But as soon as I got put into tests, maybe I thrived.
Yeah.
I remember we had standardized. So we did the Cambridge O, AS, and A levels.
Mhm.
All of my teachers were like, so they do this thing where they test you the term or I guess semester before you take the O level.
Mhm.
My predictions, I got as low as a G prediction. I think it goes all the way down to, well, technically you can get a U.
We only
which
had
means,
F, but like,
well, that's the thing. E, F, G, U. And U means like, it literally doesn't make sense what this person wrote on the paper. Or like, it means unmarked. Like the person was grading and was like, I don't even want to finish marking this paper, essentially.
Wow.
I got predicted a G in one of my classes. That isn't necessarily across the board, but I definitely got predicted like low grades.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, I got 7 Bs and an A and an A star.
Wow.
In those.
Yeah, dude. What? Yeah.
The next
no,
year,
I know
the
what
next
those
year,
mean.
I told my teacher I don't want homework, and if you don't give me homework, I promise I will do well on the test.
Uh-huh.
I came in the 100th percentile.
Yep.
I came at the top of the world for
Yep.
history. That isn't necessarily across the board. I definitely did okay in literature and stuff like that. But literature is also very open ended. It's not really like definitive answers. Like it's like very up to interpretation, right?
Right.
And then I did art, and that was great. I got an A in that too. So, but yeah, it's just very interesting to see how it manifests, I think, in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
In that way, what was a moment where you saw ADHD manifest?
For me, it's definitely been hyperfixation and also like energy. Specifically, what Ben talks about a lot with me, and it's been really great to have these conversations with each other, or at least from my end. Ben probably hates it, but I
I don't remember them.
Yeah, he doesn't remember them, so it's a good sign for him. We've talked about executive dysfunction and kind of the feeling of like not being able to do things or not having the energy to get up and do things. And for me, it went bad from like my insomnia and my sleep. Like my sleep paralysis and my night terrors caused and helped to like facilitate my insomnia, which wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But then like trying to figure out like why I don't have any sort of energy even if I sleep. And some of it had to do with like being just taken out by like ADHD and having too many things on the mind and not being able to like continue to move forward. And so it was tough. So having a stimulant has been great. To be able to kind of like not only focus me, but also just give me the energy to keep going.
Yeah.
Because that's what and it's weird because it's only in certain situations. Like when I was Spider-Man at Disneyland, like I had constant energy all the time. Like I would go work for 8 hours and I would just be fine. And then I'd go home and like a 2-hour drive and I'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's almost like now it was different.
Yeah.
It feels like there, and it could be the fact that like I don't have as much of a standardized life as I'm sure all three of us are aware of. And because of that, it's definitely affected the ability to like sleep and things like that. And so I just think that it's been nice to be able to like, also just a perfect example of it is at one point I wrote an 106 page movie in 3 days. That was that was an example of a hyperfixation where I was just like, I literally sat for like 12, 16 hours a day just writing and rewriting.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that's definitely an example of like where you were like, oh, that's the ADHD, and I just couldn't get it out of my mind.
Yeah, I wrote a code. I wrote I programmed a thing that would help keep track of the videos I've done for the table. Like I could open on my laptop right now. It's a code basically where I would just click a couple buttons and it would tell me, it would keep track of the states that I've written each particular like subcategory of like sketch for, and then it would also randomly generate a state to do for a subcategory. So I could open up the program and I would click like state picker or whatever, and then I would click the button that said like next, like joins the table. And so it would keep a running list of every state that I've already had join the table. And then I'd hit randomize and would pick 5 of those that I haven't done at random, spit them out to me so that I could be like, oh, these are the next 5 I'm going to do. So here you go, Patreon, you vote on that. And that was like a hyperfixation I had. It was just like, I'm going to reteach myself a programming language so that I could write a code to make my sketches a little bit easier to write.
Yeah.
I also got really into D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons over COVID. And I've started writing like new games, like new ways to play the game, like new characters, new classes, new races, and all that.
I just was reminded to send you the script for the thing. And
We're not even trying to stop it this episode, are we?
No, not even a little.
It's funny that you guys say that because I feel like my ADHD manifests very differently. I don't necessarily, I definitely can hyperfixate for sure, but I don't hyperfixate proactively. I basically kind of become paralyzed by all the thoughts that I have, essentially.
Yep, that's
where
definitely
it's literally
real
like if I'm trying to think of an idea or a sketch or a joke, sometimes it would go so far as to be like, well, I'd like sit down and I'd start writing jokes for like stand-up and stuff like that. And as I was writing, literally look at my notebook. My notebook for stand-up literally goes like, I'll start writing out a joke and literally will not finish and just move to the next one and the next one and the next one. So I have a lot of like beginnings of jokes
premises.
without, just literal premises without ever getting to the actual jokes.
That is not hyperfixation. That's more of lack of focus.
Yes.
And inability to focus, I think, is the proper medical terminology for it. Inability to focus.
Yes.
And also a little bit of executive dysfunction. Executive dysfunction being your inability to function to function your executively, making choices, doing the things that you're supposed to do, even the things that you don't like. Hyperfixation is like when I find a new video game that I like.
Dude,
I will do nothing but play that video game for a full week.
It's been Nazi zombies for me for like 2 weeks right now.
If I download Elden Ring tonight, I will not do anything else for a full week. I will just play Elden Ring and I know that about myself, and I'm gonna do it anyway.
I have downloaded Elden Ring.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna do it
but
anyway.
I'm on Adderall, so
yeah, that'll be easier for you. But like but mine is a week. If I don't, I do something for about a week. Like, I don't do anything else except for that for like a week. And then after that week, I don't want to touch it again for like a year.
I think that is very interesting that you're saying that. It's just making me kind of analyze behaviors that I've had before I started taking Adderall. Mm-hmm. And I think what is so interesting about that is you guys talk about the hyperfixation, at least on that sort of stuff. And with gardening last year, that was very specific.
Yep.
Like, I would spend 8 hours a day.
Yep.
I had been I was working basically like just part-time as a content creator, and I would literally just go out into the garden and I would take the tiller, like the rototiller, and just till for like 8 hours. And it wasn't even like, because you don't need to till a lot, but I felt that I needed to till multiple times over the same amount of ground because I felt like the ground wasn't like quite good enough, right?
Yep.
And so it is interesting that you do say that, because I'm like, well, maybe it manifests differently at different times too.
It does. Everyone has different things that they hyperfocus on. And there's a little bit of a difference between hyperfocus and hyperfixation. Hyperfocus can happen to you over a very short period of time. Like, you could find a book that you really like and then just read that book all day. You've hyper-focused on it. Yeah. I read an entire book, the last book of the Percy Jackson series. Mm-hmm. It came out like a day after I finished the fourth book. Uh-huh. So like the fifth book came out, I bought it and I read all of it in the same day. Uh-huh. I didn't do anything else that day. Yeah. I didn't eat or sleep or go to the bathroom, nothing. I just read that book. Yeah. And that's hyper-focusing on something. But a hyperfixation is something that can last for a period of days and weeks sometimes. I'm lucky that my hyperfixations tend to only be about a week. Yeah. That's fine. I've had a few that have gone more than that, but for the most part, it's like it'll be a video game for a week, and then I just don't want to play it again.
I still love gardening. That's okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys, because this is something that was part of the reason why I wanted to go and get actually medicated for it again. Mm-hmm. I definitely taken Ritalin when I was a child, but it didn't really have like a full effect. Did people bring up to you that your behavior was, I guess, like resonant of ADHD?
I don't think I had that.
No?
Really?
No one told you you might be ADHD?
Well, again, I'll say I don't have very many memories of my childhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have anything before 7 unless it's something that someone told me about, and I have a memory of being told about it.
Yeah.
I remember being told about it in 2nd grade, I think. My teacher told my dad, I think I was waving my hand to answer a question. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, don't wave your hand, just general to the class, don't wave your hand to get my attention. So I pulled my sleeve up over my hand and then waved it so the sleeve would fall down, just so that I could be like, no, I didn't wave my hand at you. I was trying to get my sleeve down. And just have that weird excuse, but without doing that. But then she had to talk to my dad, and even still, she told him about that and was like, I think Ben's probably going to be the president one day. Well, so I don't know exactly, but also
it's interesting that you bring that up, because it was also my dad who first kind of recognized it, and it was the reason I got diagnosed. Was on Sunday mornings we would get ready for church, and the one morning my dad walked in and I was like, can I just watch TV? I just want to watch TV. And he was like, okay. just make sure you bring your clothes in here and like shower and then
Yeah.
changed you. So I was like,
And
okay.
you didn't do any of those
Well,
things.
so he walked back in and my shirt was half buttoned. My trousers were on one leg. And I was just kind of sitting there in both my underwear and a half-buttoned shirt and trousers with, I think the belt was in some of the loops as well. And my dad was like, what am I looking at? And so he was just like, clearly he lost focus. And it's interesting. Yeah, it's just very interesting that like so many people observe it in so many different ways. But I feel like a lot of the time they don't say it out loud. They don't want to. Maybe people think it's rude, and I think it might be a little rude at times.
People were so direct with me. They
Yeah,
were like,
no.
"You have ADHD."
Well,
like,
that was for me, at least now, currently, when I'm 28, people started bringing it up like, I think you need this.
yeah, as an
Yeah.
adult, people have definitely been like, "Hey," or whatever I am. I don't know.
As a youth pastor.
As a youth pastor, people have been like, "You talk at the speed of sound." And you also like hit 9 different things while doing that.
Yeah.
So we think that you might have this thing that fits that perfectly. And so I was like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I think the important thing to notice here is that for a lot of people out there who don't really know what ADHD is or tend to hear ADHD and then think like the dog going, ooh, a ball, and like looking away, that's a part of ADHD, but that's such a minuscule part of it. And it upsets me, and I'm sure it upsets you guys too, that have ADHD, that's diagnosed, that have your medicine, that like that's such a small part of ADHD, and that part doesn't affect my life at all.
That part's the fun part, if anything. Like it's the super low key, like, oh, thoughts go places that are kind of fun sometimes. And it's that's not the part that bothers us, I don't think, at all.
Sometimes I'll be in a conversation and then a car will drive by, and then I'll look at the car because it had like a pretty color or made a noise, and I'll forget what I was talking about. That is what most people assume ADHD is, and that is the silliest part of it. I think one of the more silly parts that frustrates me is that ADHD will take a very common word
and make it sound weird?
No, not
Okay.
that. That's just saying a word over and over again.
Try it with the word sky. Just trust me on this.
Sky. No, we're not doing this.
You get it, right?
ADHD will take a very common word from my vocabulary, just take it away from me, but replace it with a word that is somehow related.
Yes.
And now I have to dance around the word I mean, and I don't know what word it is, but if you say the word to me, I'll know that was the word I meant to say.
It's like a weird type of dysphagia, which is exactly what, like, when you forget, like, simple words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of the ADHD. It'll be like, I'll forget, just example, like, I'll forget The Rock.
Like
and
Dwayne?
Then, yeah, like Dwayne. And like, I'll be like, Dwayne the something Johnson, but my brain will hand me the word, like, carpenter.
Yes, yeah, no, that exactly. That,
Yeah.
Dwayne
that's exactly
Jesus
me.
Johnson.
Yeah, I'll be like, Dwayne. Sometimes it'll take that second step. I'll be like Dwayne the Jesus Johnson, and then it'll be like somebody be like, you mean The Rock? I'm like,
The log.
yes. Okay. What my brain did was it took rock, and then it took like building with hands, which is carpentry, and then that's what Jesus did. So Jesus, never mind. It was The Rock, and that's what most conversations are like.
Well, and that's why I ended up taking Adderall, was because I would be in conversations with people, and they were like, it's like mid-conversation, I would be trying to describe something. The words would be taken away from me. I'd use other words, and then I would just totally phase out of it at times when they would start talking to me. And so people were like, it feels like you're very muddled. It also feels, and most of the people that said this were kind of like family members or friends, close friends, where they were like, I think you need this type of medication.
Yeah.
Like, I think you need to know, like, kind of experience a conversation that is, which is funny, medicated.
Yeah.
And that was like my whole motivation. Essentially, I just called up a doctor, and I literally went into the office, and he gave me Adderall, went to Costco.
Yep.
And he was like, I think he said take,
probably,
so this
probably
is the
half
interesting
a
part.
20.
Yeah,
a
he
day.
gave me 10.
Probably a 10 one day, a 10 the
at-
second
10 at
day, a
8
10 a
a.m.,
third day.
10 at like 12, 1, somewhere around there.
Oh, he was giving you 2 a day.
Yeah, 10,
Okay.
10 milligrams, 2 a day. And so I tried it out. First day, I only took 1 pill because it was the afternoon by that point.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, I feel like I'm kind of focused.
Yeah.
Second day, I woke up the next morning, took the pills, and literally had the most productive day.
Yeah.
Like, and weirdly productive.
Yeah.
And I started crying in the car because I was like, this is...
It's so
like,
relieving.
It's
It
relieving. It is relieving because you're getting things done, which had not happened in a very long time.
Yep.
Right? The motivation to get things done.
Yep.
And I don't even know if it's motivation. It's just literally doing. Like, you just
yeah.
feel like doing.
It feels like motivation to us because that's what we've been told our entire lives that we lack.
Yeah.
And it's not a lack of motivation, it's a lack of executive function.
Yeah.
And the pills are basically allowing us to function executively, do the things that we want or need to do.
Yeah.
Which is really amazing.
The definitive moment of when I thought, like, this has been an amazing day was usually when I wash my clothes, I don't fold them. I just keep them in the washing basket. That's it. I folded all of my clothes, like everything. And I literally cleaned my entire room, got rid of all the clutter, all of the trash, all of the mess, and just like organized everything into like specific shelves, specific drawers. I had moved my stuff out of a storage locker.
Okay.
Just back into the house that I was living in, and I literally cleaned out the whole thing, organized everything, and made sure that everything had like a place. There was nothing, and I was like, this is insane. Is this what regular people feel like 24/7?
The first time I took medicine, I out loud said, this is how regular people think and we still have problems in the world? I just couldn't believe it. I was like, people just think and act this clearly all the time, and man, some people like problems.
I remember having so much fun and so much energy. I filmed like 18 TikToks in one day.
Yeah.
And then I posted the first one, and then people got real mad at me.
Yeah, they did.
Dude, I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Wait, what happened? I don't know if
It
I
was
saw
the
this.
one he posted where he was like shaking the whole time, and he was like, I just took Adderall for the first time, and oh my God, it feels so great. But he was like talking super fast.
People were mad about that?
Yeah, people
Yeah.
were super pissed off about that.
Well, because it worried me. I was worried when I saw it because I thought that he had just taken too much.
Which I'd taken a little too much, but not a lot of too much.
Ben's like, hey,
And
are you sure that was...
It also was
I
the first time
texted
it had
him.
ever affected me. Yeah, and I was just like, it honestly, it was a mix between taking a little too much and then just feeling so good.
Yeah.
And that you're just like moving on. And then I had...
And then add on to the top that you have a tremor.
I have a natural tremor. It's called an essential tremor. And then you've got a whole bunch of people being like, you're just making it look like legalized